welcome to This Mama's Home. Today we're doing a meal prep video. Hey guys, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Tabitha, and on this channel I post all sorts of homemaking and motherhood content. I would love to have you subscribe if you are new. Today I am going to be batch cooking and meal prepping a ton of breakfast items for my large family because I am currently 9 weeks pregnant and the morning sickness is in full effect. It's definitely the worst when I first wake up, and I do not want to be cooking breakfast. It's pretty bad throughout the whole day, let's be honest. I'm feeling pretty good right now, and I think that I can get some things cooked up so that it just makes our mornings a lot smoother, and I can keep these kids fed because they are super hungry all the time, but especially as soon as they first wake up. So come along with me today. I will have all the recipes that I am making in today's video down in the description box. Just click the more under the title of this video and you'll be able to find them there. I'm really excited and I need to jump into it while I'm feeling pretty good. So let's get started. The first thing I did, of course, was put on my apron, put up my hair, and turned on some music. Definitely had to get in the zone to get this done. The first recipe that I decided to make was just some simple peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I would have loved to use homemade bread, but like I said, in my first trimester here, I am just not with it in the kitchen like I normally am, and I just needed to make it a little bit easier for myself. So that is what I did. I took 2 loaves of bread and turned those into peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I did not use the end pieces. I saved those for some breadcrumbs for some future recipes. And one of my biggest hacks for making sandwiches is actually using a spoon to spread instead of using a knife. It just is so much easier to get the jelly and peanut butter out of the container and to spread it with the back of the spoon. So if you've never tried that, give it a shot and let me know what you think. I made up these sandwiches right at lunchtime, so part of them I am serving for lunch, and then the rest of them I am putting in the freezer so they don't get soggy, and they'll kind of be like those uncrustable sandwiches that you can buy at the store. You just pull them out and let them thaw for about 30 minutes, and then they're perfect and ready to eat. So I have been trying to use paper plates as much as possible to save on doing dishes right now. Doing dishes right now just makes me super nauseous, the wet food and all that. So paper plates are coming in super handy. I got these plates on Amazon and they are such a good deal. If you do the subscribe and save, they only are like $7 for 200 plates, and they're super high quality and definitely comparable to like the Dixie brand. So I will link these paper plates down below if you need to get some for your family. I don't always use paper plates, but right now they are my saving grace. So for the kids' lunch today, they had the peanut butter and jelly, some apple slices, carrots, and a handful of mixed nuts. The next recipe that I am making today for my breakfast meal prep is chia pudding. The kids love chia pudding, so I ended up making 20 of these cups. It's a really simple recipe. It's definitely got a different texture, so make sure your kids like this before you make a whole big batch of it. But what I did was put 2 tablespoons of chia seeds into each cup, and then I put about a half a cup, a little bit less than a half a cup of milk in there, as well as a tablespoon of maple syrup. You give that a really good mix and let it set for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then you have to come back and stir it up again. This is a huge thing. Like, if you don't come back and stir it for a second time after it sits for a little bit, it will clump up and be really weird, and it won't be like that smooth chia pudding consistency that you're looking for. So you can add a lot of different ingredients to kind of change these up and make them customized. You could add peanut butter and jelly right in here. I thought that would be good with maybe some mixed nuts on top, or some cut up fruit. What we like to do is when we go to eat them, we just add some frozen fruit on top and maybe a little bit of honey, and it is so good. It's very filling and satisfying, and those chia seeds have a lot of omegas in them. I used raw milk, so that adds a lot of nutrition to it as well. You could use any type of milk, almond milk too, if you are dairy free. And this is just a really yummy snack or breakfast that we're loving. The next recipe, I'm using these cups again, which I will definitely link below. I got them off of Amazon. They are 5.5 ounce cups with lids, so they're perfect for these meal preps. But the next thing I'm making is these overnight oats. Now, I don't know if my kids are going to like cold oats, so we may just pop these in a bowl and warm them up if they don't like them cold. But what I did was a little bit less than a third cup of oats with a heaping teaspoon of brown sugar, a little pinch of salt for each one, and a dash of cinnamon for each one, as well as a tablespoon of vanilla yogurt to add some creaminess to it. And then I just topped it with milk. I didn't measure the milk, I kind of just eyeballed it to make sure that the oats were nice and coated. And then I stirred it all together, put the lids on, and placed these in the fridge. Both the chia pudding and the overnight oats will last for about 5 to 7 days. So this is a great thing to do on a weekly basis to make mornings so much easier. The next thing I decided to make was egg bites, and I used probably 16 to 20 eggs. Some of my chickens are laying smaller eggs, so I didn't want to use too many, but I also wanted to have enough to make 24 egg bites. So I cracked those all into a bowl, and then I added some milk and heavy cream into there to make it nice and creamy, as well as salt and pepper. After it was all mixed up, I added in some shredded cheese, and then I lined my cupcake pans with parchment liners. These again were from Amazon, and it's really important to use parchment paper when you are making the egg bites because then it doesn't stick. I actually got this idea from my friend Dee. She has a YouTube channel and Instagram account called Find Her at Home. She does a lot of these meal preps, and she inspired me to do this, and I was like, what am I thinking? Like, this is such a good idea because my mornings have been rough, you guys. But she recommended the parchment paper so that it wouldn't stick, and they are turning out great. We had them for breakfast this morning, and none of the eggs stuck to the paper, and we just warmed them up in the air fryer. My oven has an air fryer setting, so I just popped them in there, and they only took just a few minutes to warm up. I added some spinach to the egg bites as well as some sausage. We get the frozen pork sausage, I think it's Jones brand from Costco. I just put those in the microwave for a couple minutes so that I could chop them up, and then I added a few pieces to each of the egg bites. Of course, I had to add some more cheese on top, and then I placed them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. They smelled so good, and I definitely ate one right away. to test them out, and they are so yummy. We had them for breakfast, like I said, today, and I'm really glad to have these on hand. I stored these in the refrigerator because I feel like we'll eat them in time, but you could definitely put them in the freezer as well. Oh, I also added some paprika on top too. That's what you see me doing there. But these were really good, and I think you could customize them however you want. You could add kale in there, you could skip the greens totally, you could do chopped bacon, you could do no meat, you could do different types of cheeses like feta maybe. So the possibilities are endless. And I just stored these in a Ziploc bag in the fridge, like I said. You could also warm them up in the microwave if you don't have an air fryer. Just make sure to wrap them in a paper towel so that they don't get all weird. Sometimes when you're reheating eggs, they can get kind of weird in the microwave. So highly recommend doing it in the air fryer if at all possible. Otherwise, wrap them in a damp paper towel and warm them up that way in the microwave. The next thing I decided to make was some waffles. My kids love waffles, and we love this Kodiak cakes mix because it just makes it really simple and it adds a lot of protein for their breakfast. I also added some eggs and some heavy cream as well as some olive oil to kind of just add some more nutrients and even more protein to the batter. I got this waffle maker at Walmart and I love it. It makes 4 huge waffles at the same time. It seems like I never know how much batter to put in though to like fill the whole spot. It's either pouring out the sides or I don't get a full square, but that's okay. I just kept working and making these waffles for the kiddos. I could definitely just buy a box of Eggo waffles or buy a box of egg bites, but making these things at home not only saves money, but it just makes it so that it's a little bit more healthy, less questionable ingredients, and overall it just pours a lot more love into our meals. Once the waffles cooled down a bit, I just stored them in a Ziploc bag. Most of the time I put these in the freezer, but I do not think that they'll last that long. So today I just placed them in the refrigerator and we can easily warm them up in the air fryer or the toaster. So that is it for today's meal prep. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. I hope to make this a weekly or bi-weekly video series on my channel of different foods that I am preparing for my large family in the kitchen. So if you would love to see that, let me know and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!